Hi YouTube! So I just recorded an entire video and then I realized that my microphone wasn't recording. Look at this. You'll never guess what I was trying to say. So now I'm kind of super stressed out. It's like 11 o'clock on a weeknight and I have so much to work on. PAX East is, I'll be hopefully sleeping and getting ready to leave 1 week from today. And there's an entire costume that I meant to finish last month for KatsuCon. Didn't. And now I am trying to finish for PAX and I have quite a bit to do on it. So that's why we're multitasking today. So let's talk about cosplay. Let me just preface this by saying I started cosplaying in the year of 2006. Actually the same year that I started YouTube stuff, but that's neither here nor there. And I don't think I would consider myself a super popular cosplayer. And I don't cosplay very often. I don't cosplay professionally for companies or anything like that. I just cosplay for funsies. And the number one question that I get asked in the past 10 or so years has always been, how do I start? I want to cosplay. I know who I want to cosplay. What do I do now? Or, I want to cosplay. How do I choose who to cosplay? Tell me. Teach me. Well, I can't teach you anything probably, but I'm happy to try and give a little bit of advice after I burn the crap out of my fingers with this hot glue gun. Eek. Hot. Oops. It's not good. Anyway. Ow. Everybody cosplays differently. There's no right way to cosplay, there's no wrong way to cosplay. Some people are in it for the craftsmanship, they just really enjoy making the cosplays and sometimes competing with them. Some people are in it for the role-playing aspect. Some people are just in it because they love the characters so much. Personally, I'd say I'm somewhere between the craftsmanship and the character-loving bits of it. I'm not one of those people who gets into character when I cosplay. I might love the character so much that I'm cosplaying, but I'm not an actress, that's for sure. Maybe if you give me a ton of alcohol, but that's not to be advised. So to get started with cosplay, you need to choose your character. There's a lot of different reasons people choose characters. Sometimes they choose characters because they think they look a lot like the character. Sometimes people choose characters just because they love them so much in a series. Sometimes it's just because their friends are cosplaying in a group or something like that. For me personally, almost exclusively I choose characters that I care a lot about. Sometimes I choose characters that I hate a lot, and I don't really know why I do that, but characters that elicit a strong reaction from me get cosplayed. Other times I choose characters just because I really like their design and I really want to recreate it in actual real life. But why you choose a character in the first place should really be really personal to you, to what you want to do and what you want to accomplish out of cosplaying. The next step after choosing a character is deciding if you're actually going to make the costume, and if you are going to make it, it's figuring out how. Most cosplayers aren't born as seamstresses, don't innately have some ability to craft things beautifully. I've been sewing cosplays for 10 years and I'm still terrible at it. Here I am hot gluing together a crown because it seemed like a good idea at the time. So much of cosplay is trial and error and learning and messing up and redoing things and learning more. That being said, some ways to kind of improve without wasting a ton of fabric and money are to really focus on tutorials that are all over YouTube now. They're so helpful. And if you have a character in mind, like say you're actually cosplaying Link, try literally searching how to make Link's tunic, because you will probably find 50 results of that one simple thing. And if you decide you want to buy the costume, there's no shame in that either. The quality of cosplays that you can buy these days is so high. When I started cosplaying, you couldn't even buy wigs that were intended for cosplay. They were all like wigs that you buy at an actual wig store. If you're kind of in the middle and you don't feel super confident in making your own cosplay, but you wanted to give it a shot, and then go in, buy the costume, and fix whatever you think could be higher quality. Or make the things that you know you can make, and for everything else, buy it. Just buy it. If you don't have money, that makes it a little more difficult, I guess. That makes the buying part impossible. And on that note, please know that cosplay is not a cheap hobby. It's very expensive. Even if you're making it yourself and you don't waste any money and you do very good spending, and all of that good stuff, there's a good chance you'll be spending hundreds of dollars on some costumes. It didn't used to be this way, but a lot of the time it actually is cheaper to buy costumes, especially if you don't really know what you're doing to get started. Got my crown. progress. I don't want anyone to know how big my forehead is, though. A few things that I do think that everyone should know for their first cosplay, especially if you haven't been to a convention before. If you're planning on wearing your cosplay to a convention, then you should really be prepared to be asked for photos. You are more than welcome to say no to photos. Sometimes people will be rude and take them anyway, or take them while you're like sitting down or eating, but just be aware that usually in a convention setting, people are expecting to take photos of the cosplayers. And in the same regard, don't feel bad if nobody asks you for a photo. Sometimes it's hard to not take it personally, but I promise it's nothing personal. You look great. Sometimes people just don't need another picture on their phone. And sometimes like 500 people will take your photo and you're never gonna see those pictures. So make sure if you really want some pictures of your cosplay, then you enlist a friend to take a few pictures on their phone, or ask someone to take a picture of you on your own cell phone, or hire a photographer to do a little photo shoot. One last tip, don't procrastinate until the week before your convention to make a very complicated costume. So in conclusion, follow your cosplay dreams. Don't let a lack of skill or a lack of knowledge or a lack of confidence hold you back, because it's really an awesome hobby. It's a lot of fun. I've met so many people through cosplay, and I'll continue to meet so many more. I love cosplaying, and I plan on cosplaying as an old lady someday. It's gonna be awesome. And when you're slaving over stupid details and stupidly complicated sleeves at 3 a.m. before a convention, and you're thinking like, why do I do this stupid thing to myself every single con? Just remember, in the end, it's usually worth it. I hope to share my finished Zelda cosplay with all of you next week at PAX. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter if you don't already, because that's where all of the photos will be. And for the next week on Twitch, I will be working on my Zelda cosplay live, so if you have any interest in watching some of my process, feel free to tune in. I can't promise that I won't let out a few expletives. Can't promise I won't burn the crap out of my hands live on stream. I've already done it multiple times. But if you really want to hang out and watch me suffer over cosplay at very early hours of the morning, please feel free to stop by. I could really use the company so I don't lose my mind. Next video, I'll be talking about PAX East and what I'm hoping to see there. Nintendo will be there. Love you.
Goody goody goo. Do